Your soul is mine.
It's very odd when I don't have my usual sting kicking in from when I'm streaming. That's thrown me off. Evening, boys. How are we?
Good yourself.
Yeah.
Evening.
Dying with a bit of viral chest infection. But it's going now, so hopefully my voice holds out enough. How are we? Healthy, breathing, happy?
Another day above ground, mate.
One way to put it, I suppose.
Apart from slightly warm, feel probably as good as I've felt in a long time.
It's typical English response, isn't it? It's far too hot. Far too hot. You don't get this kind of temperature abroad. Far too hot.
It's a different type of heat when you're away, isn't it?
Yeah, that's like an age-old argument, isn't it? It's like it might be the same temperature wherever you go, but it's always far too hot when you're in your home country.
It's the humidity. Like, it's sticky.
Muggy. Muggy.
Yeah. Like we had thunderstorms the other day. That's normally clear it up. Not touched it.
I'm sat in shorts and t-shirt. I know that Mr. War is wearing his wife beater. Nothing on the bottom half at all. Completely nude.
Oh yeah, of course.
I've just got my jock strap on.
Brilliant. I love that. So this is podcast 2. It's been a little bit of a hiatus, isn't it, since the last one? But hopefully we've got our lives back on track to be able to do this on a weekly basis now. That'd be good. Hopefully a bit more prepared.
There we go. Right?
So since the last time we spoke, are we playing anything new, or are we still playing the same games?
I've been on the bit of a new Revising update.
Okay. What's that? What's that say?
It's really good. They revamped the game, redone the kind of wiped all the progress, so the bosses have changed. It's quite a different game. Also seen the 7 Days to Die alpha. The new alpha's out. Everyone's raving about it, so might be something to touch on.
Oh, the new alpha for what? Sorry.
7 Days to Die.
Oh, Alpha 21. I know. Alpha 21.
I'm hearing things.
Okay, well, I've seen little bits because one of the content creators that I follow has played a bit of. They do like a series on 7 Days to Die, so they've been showing some of the updates to Alpha 21. Looks interesting. Does look interesting, so it might be that that's something we can give a go again.
Yeah.
Okay, and you've been doing the usual wowing, have we?
A little bit. I've been at York. I've been in York that week, so it's a bit hard on a gaming tab, a laptop. But I was surprised. Borrowed a gaming laptop off Todd, and it It was better than I thought it was going to be playing on a laptop.
Okay. What was you playing? Was you just using that to play WoW or?
Oh yeah, just barely played that. Though. It was just surprised me over a laptop. I wasn't expecting the kind of okayish quality, and the graphics was half decent considering.
Do we know anything about the laptop? You know, we do like our tech.
Idea. No idea. I'll get the spec for you. I know it was a Ryzen.
What colour was it?
There we go. This is where Kollok intervenes.
I think it might have been a Razer laptop.
Or was it green?
No.
Greenish. If that was a Razer laptop, if that was a Razer laptop, I have a newfound respect for
I
Mr.
don't
Todd.
think it was Razer. I don't know. It was decent. I don't know what it was.
Okay, that's fair. You can't say
Wait a minute.
much more than that, can you? Really?
Careful if you stand up. We don't want to see you knob.
Yes, that's it. You're banned. You're banned. Well, I can. I will just switch that off while he's. Oh, that's the wrong one. Ta-da! I will just switch it off while he's vacant from his room. What about your good self, sir? Oh, here he is. He's back.
Oh, yeah, that was quick.
That's what she said.
In custom Todd style, just got stickers the fuck club.
Sticker bombed. Here he is. We're looking at the laptop, Mr.
Todd,
Todd.
what's your laptop? We're talking about, yeah.
Go on. Post the spec, Mr. Silent Boy. Let's see what it is. Let's see what it's saying.
Oh, a laptop. It's got a
It's a
touchpad. It's got a keyboard.
HP, MSI, AAD, Ryzen 5. What was it called? Oh, Pavilion. It was Pavilion, yeah, laptop. I was really surprised. I was quite impressed.
Nice, nice.
Tidy.
Yeah, banging. What
And
about
if
you?
it's running the games that, like, I don't know, I've only been running WoW, but if it's working well for that, I mean, it's going to do all right on a couple of others, but maybe not be amazing.
Yeah, it was alright. I mean, it just.
Yeah,
I had to get.
I don't want this to come across as disrespectful, but WoW is not exactly a taxing game, is it? So if you could play WoW,
You'd be surprised.
well, I know you're playing at 4K. It's a bit different.
Yeah.
I know, but I didn't even look at the settings it was on, but it was doing decent. So FPS was all.
Well, Mr.
No,
Mr. Todd is saying that he was using it for rendering, so it must have a bit of oomph in it. To be fair for that,
it was alright, mate.
it's like the laptop that me and Looney have is pretty. It's good for content creation. But we'll if we up the a plan for the podcast and we do a bit more kind of togetherness in a room, that'll be what I'll be using is that laptop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what about you, Mr. Kollok? What are you playing at the moment?
I've been playing solitaire,
Yeah.
and I've been doing that whilst on a sun lounger drinking beer.
Is that you hoping that there's no one from work in the chat?
No, that was genuinely what I was doing because obviously, as you boys know, I've been away for a week.
Oh yeah, it's been a couple of weeks since the last podcast.
Yeah, so we went away for a week, bit of the old sun and relaxation, and yeah, first time in a long time that I felt really
Relaxed.
good when I've come back. Yeah, didn't have any socials. I
did notice
Two
because I
or
did
three
feel like you were
games.
blanking me. To be fair,
yeah, I didn't go. I think I messaged one person on WhatsApp, and that was just to sort the taxi for the way back. That was it. Didn't use anything. The whole idea of just being a complete shutout, let the mind just go.
that's what you need, isn't it? Just to break
Yeah.
away. Even if it's just
Yeah.
a couple of days off work and not in work, you'd be surprised how much of a difference that makes.
Oh, massively. And since I've got back, I've kind of been a bit struggling. I've gone back on. I did a little bit of research when I got
The
back
drugs.
with the old
The drugs.
Forza thing. And I seem to have got a reasonably okay one of them. They're still kind of queued up behind each other, which is annoying. But there's more conversation about that in a bit because there's a new one. Apart from that, I've kind of just been a bit open a game, play around, close it, move on.
Which is fair enough, to be honest, isn't it? So, because I suppose because it's been kind of racing season, hasn't it? Really, I know this is going to touch ever so slightly onto sport because we've had quite a few big motorsport events. You had the Indy 500. You've had Le Mans, which I know that we're going to talk about a bit later on because there's a lot to talk about Le Mans, which I found really interesting.
Since we last spoke, have we had the big three?
Big three being
Indy 500,
Monaco.
Monaco, and Le Mans.
Yes. because Le Mans was just last weekend, and Monaco and
was
Indy
the week before, and the week before that.
Yeah,
it's been the past 3 weekends. Yeah. Blimey,
time flies.
Ah.
Okay, so it's also the season for game reveals. So they've shown the new Assassin's Creed, which I think everyone will agree was getting a bit samey. I've not seen much. I've seen some of the new mechanics in it. It looks quite interesting. Like it's a lot more about assassinating people rather than waiting to parry them. That kind of combat mechanic from Valhalla. I've also seen, which I'm very excited about, the new Star Wars game, Outlaws. Have either of you two seen that?
I've seen something, I think, a little clip it or something. But you've just put the pieces together to what it was. Now I know what it was.
So Outlaws is open world Star Wars game.
How open world? Are we talking GTA open world or Skyrim open world? Or No Man's Sky?
Not quite in the amount of infinite worlds as No Man's Sky, but more to do with you're on a big planet, so you can explore the planet. But I think there's 8 worlds. Someone mentioned to me. There's 8 worlds. You can explore the planet. So the outside, there's big cities, and how you interact with key characters in the cities and the outside world impacts how you develop and interact with future characters and future factions.
Okay.
And
persistent world or something like that. Is that what it's called?
Kind of, yeah. So it's all to do with like your reputation with certain characters and guilds. So well established mechanic. But what's really cool about it is you've got a planet you can explore, but you've also got a spaceship. You jump in the spaceship and you can fly into orbit, and then you've got a whole kind of orbit around the planet you can explore as well. So like space stations, you can get into space battles, asteroids. It looks really, really good, as all the Star Wars games have been recently, and just the whole open world mechanic seems quite interesting, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But that was only revealed, so hopefully more detail will be forthcoming.
And I think what you're saying of like it's open world, but you have this finite 8 planets. But the fact you've then got that extra layer of when you go into orbit, it's not just like, oh, go to that planet and do that. You have things on the outside of that, and then obviously I presume there's going to be some type of event when you're in transit, or is it just a straight light jump there? Or do you
between the planets? Yeah, between the planets is like the hyperspace travel. So you kind of, from the films, you get the white stars and shoot past you. But the transitioning, you literally take off from the surface of the planet and you go through the stratosphere and the atmosphere into space, which is very cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, very cool. Also, we've seen the release recently of F123, which is meant to be, the initial response seems to be it's very good. It drives very well, which is what you need in a driving game, obviously.
Should hope so.
I know that Looney is very excited to get up there and play. I'm tempted to give it a dabble, because I've done a lot with kind of the career mode in it as well. So that's something that's recently been released. They've announced the next flight sim.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the next flight sim will, on top of the usual, you're flying planes, will be kind of, you can fly executive jets, so you transport people around the world. Also, I don't know how interesting this is going to be. You can pilot a hot air balloon.
Oh, that could be really calming.
It would be, but what control do you have in that? You can go up and down.
You can go up and down.
But that was quite interesting.
You can always try and land it on tricky places,
like Empire State in New York.
Yeah, just
King Kong style. So that's quite interesting.
Just going back to the F1.
Yep.
I've heard something and I saw half a clip, but I haven't seen anybody else say or mention it. Defending.
Okay.
Apparently the AI.
Oh yeah, they defend.
Which is the first time that's happened in a racing game.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like they might have moved, but this is like definite controlled.
Pulling
you
you-
pull
pulling-
out.
pulling in
They're
front of
like, you're not
Yeah.
having that. Yeah,
Yeah, I have seen some clips of that. I didn't realise that was a brand new thing because it's caught
Yeah.
some people by surprise, isn't it? Really?
yeah, because you know, how many games have you played, racing games? You're coming up behind someone, you move out, they don't defend it, you just get past them.
Yeah, it's more.
Late break.
It's more if you're thinking kind of Need for Speed. It's more the AI is behind you trying to take you out, isn't it? They're never really
Yeah.
in front of you trying to. That's really cool. I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
added a different mechanic to the game and a different depth. Sure, I'm sure
Well,
I'll,
it means-
I'll have a bit more into that.
Yeah, you got to work harder then to get past someone.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just as simple as I'm going down the road and just going to pull out because I've got the speed, my DRS is open, and I'm using the overtake boost.
Mhm.
It's, oh no, they've now blocked me. I now need to go back to the racing line, which they can follow, or I need to go further out onto the marbles.
Yeah. Well, that's really interesting. It's good to see that's they're developing the kind of the AI in the game. That's genuinely interesting. It'd be interesting to see how that plays. So I might give it a double.
Yeah.
So another one, which I know some of the people in the chat will be interested in, that released recently is good old Diablo 4.
I've
Go
been
on.
tempted, but I don't know. Just there's nothing. It doesn't excite me yet.
In what way?
It hasn't excited me.
So what's the
wanted to
appeal? Because it's not as though the look of the game has changed much since the last Diablo game, is it?
My point exactly. Look, it looks better. The butcher was in the first one. It's just looks like revamped shit to me.
Is it like a 3+1 rather than a 4?
I'd go 1+3 if anything.
Oh,
The only thing that makes me chuckle about the whole Diablo 4 release is the fact that obviously they've done a lot of advertising for it because it's a big hyped game. But the advertising around New York, given that they're in the red cloud of smog at the moment, is very funny. I do like that.
Yeah, that's clever.
That does tickle me.
Oh,
That does tickle
yeah.
me. I should really switch off sound alerts because I have already switched them off. Sorry, 8-bit, for wasting your channel points. But I should really just switch them off altogether.
Didn't hear anything.
No, I know after what happened last time, I have muted sound alerts, but really, I don't know how to switch them off. So please don't use sound alerts because you're just going to waste your lozenges. So that's all I can think of for games that I've seen kind of little previews for that interest me. What is it, Starfield?
Starfield,
I've
yeah.
seen a little bit about that.
Now that's meant to be like the next. It's meant to be No Man's Sky, but if they got it right.
Okay, explain.
Well, like everyone had the issues with No Man's Sky of like, well, what do I do? Like, it's a little bit vague on what I'm meant to do. The worlds and everything are a bit weird. It's stuff like that, and it was very clunky in the very beginning, but then it started to feed into being quite a good game. But this is meant to be what No Man's Sky was before people got bored of it at the beginning. It's not procedurally generated, I don't think.
Okay.
But the size and variance and stuff like that is of a similar ilk.
Okay.
And I think the idea is it's meant to be a bit more like Eve. So you're kind of going to have this like a bit of economy almost, or at least that's what I'm seeing from it. I could be wrong because again, I looked at this briefly, but that's where it kind of sat to me. But then I watched the trailer and I went, that's just Star Wars.
Starfield was.
Or it was a bit more like Destiny too.
Because
You
I'll be
go
honest.
to the world, you walk around, you then shoot something, and you fly away again.
So I'll be honest, I haven't seen much of the gameplay. I've just seen the hype around it. Everyone's really hyped about the game. I'll have to do a bit more of a kind of a look to find out what the game's about, if that makes sense.
I haven't
Before I
looked
can pass
properly. I'm
judgment.
not gonna lie. I seen a quick glance and it looked okay.
So you're kind of similar to me, aren't you? You've seen the hype. It's like, oh, this is interesting, but I haven't actively sought out any stuff because for me, I'm still playing Battlefield, still playing Gen Zero, and they've just
I've got a lot of games on. Yeah, what you?
and then Battlefield, they've just gone live with Season 5, a big update in the game, so lots of content has changed, new map, etc., new season pass. So that's, I'm enjoying that. The game feels like Battlefield. That's basically a summary. It feels like it's Battlefield now, which is ironic because it should have felt like that from day one. And also, I don't play Warzone, but the next season has dropped for that this week. The new Warzone season, which I'm watching a lot of content creators play that. It's a shame I couldn't get into it. DMZ, I would have loved to have played with you boys, but I just couldn't get it to work for me.
Seems a lot of controversy with Nick Merckx and everyone getting involved on the bandwagon.
What's that all about then? Because all I saw was a tweet from Tim saying, "Can you remove my bundle?"
I know roughly about it. Do you know more about it than I do, Loz?
I've just done something terrible. Bear with me.
Oh no!
Good old undo. So Nick Merckx had a skin added to the game. He had his skin. It was like a Spartan warrior kind of skin.
Good choice.
That was him. But then he's either said something on stream or tweeted something or something against something to do with LGBTQ2T plus Y epsilon.
Oh my god, you can so tell we're boomers.
And speak for yourself. And basically they've removed his skin from the game. So I'm not so that's in a nutshell my understanding of the situation.
To my knowledge, it was something to do with the school teachers at his kid's school were trying to teach, or not his school, don't quote me. They were trying to teach about LGBT, and he kind of went, well, I haven't kind of give you permission to do that, or I don't know exactly what went on, but it was basically like, leave the kids alone, leave them alone.
Yeah, it's a very hotbed, isn't it? A hot topic at the moment, just how people feel about it.
I mean, Kollok will have an opinion, but I mean, Loz and me, no offense, will have a different opinion because as parents, it's kind of like, maybe that is kind of our place to be. I think the interpretation. Go on.
Sorry, we've kind of got like the opposite ends of it. If I was the one that's most recently gone through the education system up all the way through its entirety.
Can I just pause you 1 second? Can I just, when you went, I was the one that most recently went through, and I thought you were going to go the transition. Go on. I was just like, I was about to. I'm not going to take a slurp of tea because I'll end up spitting all over my keyboard. Continue.
Danger.
Stranger danger.
From my point of view, like up till I left primary school, I got no idea about any of this.
Yeah,
we had it in year 2, and it was basically, look, when mummy and daddy like each other, they have a baby. That was pretty much it. Like, there wasn't exactly extensive detail. It wasn't until you got to high school that when you started to have science class, which was more biology driven, that you actually got a bit more conversation about it. And personally, I don't think there should be anything until at least that part of your mind, not saying that you've done it again.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
What are you doing?
I'm being a Norman, sorry. No, because I'm looking at the OBS screen, but where I had the actual screen capture, the far left of the screen, I was sitting like looking like this. So I've tried to move it close to my camera so I'm a bit more of a natural angle, but I kept grabbing the frame like an idiot. But go on, sorry. So professional content creators. We good at this. We know what we do.
So like up to you start high school at 11. Like after that, you go through that start of the change and they're trying to discover and figure out who the hell you are. So I think obviously I'm not there, but I don't think I would have had the mental capability of understanding or appreciation of what is being said.
That makes sense.
And
until I'm anywhere near that age. In primary school, girls had got cooties and that was it. You didn't get near them. And it wasn't because I liked boys. It was because girls had got diseases, and that's what everyone's told. And
I think you've, without going too far down this rabbit hole, I think you've hit the nail on the head. Everyone's kind of the opinion don't be forcing. You know, a lot of people, parents are of the opinion, don't be forcing this
Oh yeah, yeah.
this education on children that are still discovering themselves. It's kind of, you know, forcing them. How's, you know, a lot of people saying, how's this any different to them enforcing, you know, other religious beliefs as teachings in school?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is it that different? No, I know. It's, again, I don't want to go too much longer into this because it is. There's a lot of emotion and opinions on the topic, so I'm just going to play it safe and just like, you know, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but at some point,
go on. Sorry. No, go on.
At some point, we need to draw a line in the sand. Going, this is going. You know, at what point is it going too far?
When do kids stop being kids? That's my whole. I was taught at school, and then when I was at a certain age where my parents trusted that I could go out and play, because I was living in the countryside, go out play in the field safely, we did. No one ever spoke about it because it's not something that's important.
Yeah.
You know, and that goes for a lot of stuff, like the religion stuff. You're told that there are others in the world, but that was about it until I got to high school. And then it was a bit more in depth of, well, this is what they can do, because they were able to split your lessons up more. At primary school, you just got to survive for 7 years. Learn how to read and write, do some simple maths.
Play with friends.
Yeah.
But I think going in line with that, you know, at what point do we teach children about this? Is also, like, again, we're boomers. It wasn't that long ago that if you didn't feel that the gender that you were at birth was your gender, so you wanted to change your gender, to do that, you'd have to see a therapist.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
it would take years for you to be able to get the actual approval, shall we say, to have the operation and to transition. Whereas now, and you'd have to be of a certain age. You know, you have to be 100% certain that everyone had to be 100% certain that you were certain that's what you wanted to do. Because obviously, once you've done it, you can't go back. But now that's all gone by the wayside, and it's very easy to transition now. And, you know, as teenagers, you change your mind about things almost on a weekly basis sometimes. How can you let someone that's so young and you know, doesn't 100% know about themselves make that decision that you can't go back on?
I know it's of a completely different ilk, but on that, I got a song that like appeared again on my Spotify. I haven't listened to that in years. We are talking maybe 12, 13
God,
years.
what is it? God, what is it?
It was Breaking Benjamin.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, used to love them. And then I started to think, and funnily enough, if I go back all the way to them when I started to try and find my own music, there's only one band that still exists in my playlists now.
So what?
All those ones that I listen to, I've gone by the wayside. I've changed my mind. I've changed my feelings and my opinions on that particular type of music or them.
And this is one of the things I love about Spotify. Is that you go, I haven't heard from them. You start listening to it, and it goes, ooh, you might like this band, and you go, oh my god, haven't heard them for ages. It's one of the things I love about Spotify. It's like, you just go down the rabbit hole, don't you? It's a bit like sitting on YouTube. You just kind of, this video leads to this video, it leads to this video. And onto that, what is it? Have we are we watching anything, any series? Have we watched any films recently that, you know, we thought was worthy of a mention?
No, I know the new Rick and Morty season's out. I'm a bit, if you like that sort of thing.
Yeah, I've seen that on Netflix. I have seen that appear on Netflix. Kollok?
We downloaded and watched something called The Sandman on Netflix whilst we were away.
Okay.
Middle of the road. I'd give it a 6 out of 10. There was quite a few flaws in it for me, which I like to pick them out because I like things. If you create your own universe, you got to live in it, and I don't feel like it does all the time. So that annoys me with it. It's kind of all right. There's some snappy endings, a bit of the old Star Trek endings to episodes. Well, yeah, it was quite all right. Quite an interesting version of quite an old story. So quite clever.
Wait. Just a quick question. I zoned out. Are you talking about the series?
Yeah, there's a new series on Netflix.
I know. Yeah, I've watched it. I know what you're talking about now. I thought he was on about a film. Yeah,
No,
I know
it's kind of like middle of the road, isn't it?
The Dreamer. I know what you're
Yeah.
on about. Yeah, yeah. He's got Lucifer. Yep, I know what you're on about. Yeah.
Apart from that, I've just been watching a bit of the old like documentaries, various history tidbits, and trying to just educate myself in a couple of extra things.
Well, it was the anniversary of D-Day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that's it was the big anniversary. Was it 80 years or 75 years? So
yeah.
I've seen a lot of documentaries about that. You mentioned like Star Trek. Oh, God, you British people. Stop.
Oh, no, right.
Give it up.
There's a reason I mentioned the Dam Busters.
Go on.
It's because I live on the flight path that they took. So on the anniversary of the Dam Busters, you got the big Lancaster, 2 Spitfires and a Hurricane go on that route.
That's quite cool.
Yeah, and they just come over and then they loop round and come back again about an hour and a half later. It was incredible.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Where I used to live in kind of Telford, and where my mum used to work in kind of Oswestry Way, used to be the flight path of that the training flights of the Tornadoes used to take when they were doing their low level flying. So they're going up to the Mach Loop. That's like growing up and having those things going full belt, literally feeling like you can touch them. They're so low. That's I know it's a bit of an aside, but that was pretty cool to see that.
That is pretty cool. Yeah.
So I've been watching. I think I mentioned last time The Good Doctor. Quite liking that.
I don't think you did mention it.
Did I not?
No, that might be a new one. I mentioned House last time.
Yeah. I know what you mean, though.
Yeah, so
autistic?
Yes, yeah. So he's autistic, but he's got savant. Is it savant syndrome as well, where he's like a genius level? It's really, really good. Really, really good.
Eidetic memory. That's like, a load of things he zooms in his X-ray minis.
Yeah, and he can work things out, like diagnose people or some possibilities. He just hasn't got any social skills at all because of his condition. So I'm quite liking that. It's quite good. It's one of those ones where, because it's not just about helping people. Yes, Todd is a good doctor. It's not just about helping people. It's how his peers, so the other doctors, are starting to kind of understand how he works and how to, utilize his abilities. And it does at the end of the episodes where like some of the doctors that are so against him being there, and he's like he's chipped away at them where they're they're seeing what he's capable of and treating him as more of a person than just someone with a condition. It's quite emotional. I'm enjoying that. The other thing I've started watching, which is on Disney Plus, and you mentioned like Star Trek endings, is the Orville. Is the Seth MacFarlane one?
Seth MacFarlane, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's quite funny. I think it's trying too hard to be like, I'm Seth MacFarlane. I wanted to do my version of Star Trek. But if you look past that, it's quite funny. He's a very distinctive voice, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. What else do we want to have a chat about? Is it time to move on to sport and see where that takes us?
I can jump into the sport. I've got plenty on it.
Yeah, I know. I've seen you've put like almost. So I've put an itinerary together of what a basic overview of what we're going to talk about, and Kollok has pretty much matched that with just sport.
All that.
Yeah.
This is what we're talking about. Sport.
My turn. Go on.
Right. We'll run through the news and then we'll get into the bits that I would like to go on and talk about.
I do need to have an intro for you for sport. And now we're sports. Yeah, I need to do something like that. Yeah, and have a slide.
And command. Sports.
Yeah.
What was it? Woo!
Yeah, exactly that.
So we'll start with the big news. Messi is moving to Inter Miami, which is the team owned by David Beckham. He was offered a absolutely gargantuan deal to move to the Saudi league to play basically against Ronaldo again. But he turned that down for a league offer about half of the money. You're looking at about 200 million across 4 years.
Only 200.
But he's also getting a sponsorship deal with, I believe it's Coca-Cola and Adidas. So if you include that across the 5 to 10 years that he's probably going to get those sponsorships, plus the contract, he's earning more than he would for Saudi. And stays in the news. Karim Benzema of Real Madrid, he has moved to the Saudi-backed league. There are links with Lukaku going there. And N'Golo Conte is the Premier League winner with Leicester and Chelsea. He could also go to the Saudi-backed league. So it'll be interesting to see if they are going to try and buy everyone's favour because they have no global or Western TV deals.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's interesting, isn't it? It's like people. Obviously, it shows when you're reaching your twilight years in football, you end up in kind of. It used to be America not that long ago, but now it's kind of Saudi Arabia is. Yeah, but American Soccer League is still quite competitive.
Yeah, and that's why I think a lot of the Brits, like especially our guys, they finish in the Premier League and they go there. It's like dropping down to League One. It's still tough. It's going to be fight. But you play on the big stage and you earn the big money. You don't earn league money. Keeping with that and all the stuff like that, youngster Jude Bellingham.
Yeah, I was about to mention that.
He's signed and will be introduced as a Real Madrid player on Thursday.
That was confirmed today, wasn't it?
Yeah, £88.5 million from Dortmund.
Yeah.
Just astronomical figures. And in the world of my team, Leicester, we don't have any players anymore. Everybody's left.
Yeah. Well, we knew that was going to happen, didn't we, really?
Yeah. Including Tielemans joining Aston Villa on a free. Maddison's up for about 40 millions. Vardy will stay because he's a Leicester-born boy now.
And his career is pretty much over at top flight anyway.
Yeah. And I expect over the next 2 to 3 weeks to hear that basically anybody else that was any good at Leicester's left.
Was there anyone left?
There's a couple. They're not very good, but they're there.
See, obviously you live in Leicester. Yeah, you're kind of a bit of a Leicester fan. I do feel your pain with losing all your players because I'm a PSV Eindhoven fan. It's just a breeding ground for talent to be snapped up.
Yep.
The likes of
go on. And like the way our football league works, and I try and explain this to people. Leicester were a Premier League team that got relegated. Yeah. Southampton weren't. They were a Championship team playing in the Premier League.
Yeah, they're always up and down. It's one of those teams that's always up and down. So
Leeds, they were arguably a really good Championship team, but that's it.
Yeah.
Leicester were a thorough Premier League team.
Yeah, it's disappointing how much they've fallen from grace.
Yeah.
But you could say the same about Chelsea. They've really fallen from grace as well, haven't they?
Yeah, but that's just because they kept hiring Lampard and he forgot how to win.
So that's
final football thing for me is Mbappe is also linked with Saudi, but he's more likely to stay at PSG or to Spain or England.
So who is it? I can't remember specifically. Who is it that said they're not renewing their contract, but they've got like 1 year left, so they're looking to sell? Is that Mbappe?
That was Mbappe because I read it in the news and it didn't mean anything to me, but
because he's going, isn't he? End of next season, he's gone. He leaves PSG. So they've put him up for sale to try and at least make some money from him.
Because that's the thing with Leicester as well. We've lost 7 players on a free. Looking at the 7 players that are left, there's 120 million there. Just gone. Yeah. Walked out the door. Don't turn around now. You're not welcome anymore.
Yeah.
It's awful.
You're not Premier League. I said you're not Premier League.
We know. Well, that's pretty much all sport. All the sport, not all the sport at all. All football.
Yeah. Yeah.
Moving on to other things, the MotoGP's been back now for 2 rounds. That is just electric and fantastic racing.
Hang on, before you continue on, I need to make a note of next week's podcast. Whenever you mention MotoGP, I need to get Crazy Frog to come up on the screen.
And this is going to tie into that quite nicely. F1.
Oh, I see what you did
They went to Spain.
Yeah.
And they said, you know what? The bikes come here. Them boys over at MotoGP, and they always have fantastic races around this track, but it's a dud for us. Why don't we try their second to last corner instead of that silly bus stop chicane?
Is that what they did? So match that circuit, did it? Okay, good.
Yeah, and that is probably the best race out of Spain in the past decade. it was phenomenal. There was so many overtaking because you could get the speed going onto the straight. Brilliant. I am all for that. If you're going to start learning from the proper racing series rather than just being a fancy way of proceeding round for 2 hours, then we've got more info for you.
And we talked about this last podcast. They need to do something at Monaco. There's no overtaking. You can't overtake, and you can't take it off. Well, yeah, and the cars are bigger.
Exactly, but you just need small cars.
Yeah. Something needs to happen. You can't take it out of the calendar because you can't take Monaco off the F1 calendar. That's never going to happen. But you have to do something with the format of the track, all the cars. But we said this last time. I like the design of the cars because they do what they're meant to do. They're all a lot closer now. It's more competitive, but yeah, it doesn't suit a track like that.
No,
which is a shame because it's a great track.
So a bit of a fantasy dream thing here, but let's say that F1 do realise that MotoGP is the more premier sport and start copying other facets of it, like their point scoring system.
Okay.
Which pays down to 15th. So 15th place, you get 1 point.
Okay.
If you were to put that on the F1 season so far, you don't have masses of changes. Apart from Yuki Tsunoda.
Okay.
He jumps from like 16th, 17th to 11th.
Okay. That's because he's consistent, isn't he?
Yeah. Hulkenberg, he drops down because he's had 7th, I think, and that's pretty much about it. He drops all the way down to 17th.
It's because there's a lot of talk about, like we mentioned briefly, the penalty point system, but yeah, it's difficult though. It's like trying to change the Premier League. It's run by people that are stuck in their ways and don't want to have this revolutionary change because they're afraid of what it's going to do.
Yeah, but are they? Because it's now all about the show. And if you were watching, like, facts are fact. Verstappen's going to clear off. So what about if you'd got Magnussen having a belt of a race, battling with Bottas and Norris for 11th?
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to see that normally because it's not for a point. If you make it worth something, that's going to be feature TV.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. That'd be a bit more interesting. Give the constructors something else to fight for as well, because if you're in the bottom 2 all the time, you're not going to get any points. So
no.
if it could be the difference of you getting 1 or 3 points, you're going to fight a bit harder.
Yeah, and if you look at this year, you've arguably got the top 4 teams. And they're pretty much stacking out the front 8 every race.
Yeah.
So you're fighting over 9th and 10th.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, let's open this up a little bit.
Yeah.
Final thing I would do to change F1, and then I'll move on from it. In MotoGP, you have a Riders' Championship, a Team Championship, and a Manufacturers' Championship. So Ducati go out and make a bike.
Mm-hmm.
They have their team, Ducati, and then they have a satellite team called Pramac, which is pretty much Ducati, but in a different colour.
Mm-hmm.
They then also sell that bike, or last year's bike, to 2 other teams. So Ducati have, I think, in 3 races' time, pretty much regardless of what happens, Ducati will win the manufacturer's title.
Okay.
Because they've got 8 bikes on the grid, which is 4 more than anyone else on the grid.
Yeah, but that's like you just mentioned. Then isn't that unfair? Because if you have more Ducatis in the field, you're going to get more points, don't you? Is there not a limit to how many of those?
For the manufacturer, yes, but not for the team or the rider. Because you've got 8 bikes that are almost the same, it's a different winner every time on a slightly different bike that's in a different colour.
Okay.
So the teams don't do as well. They take points from each other.
See, in F1, you do kind of have that a little bit because you have obviously the main team. So look at Red Bull, for example, and they have their younger team,
the sister team,
and even Aston Martin. They're running, but
they're Ferrari. No, not Mercedes. Sorry,
they're essentially running Mercedes. Yeah.
But what about if you had Red Bull and Red Bull's sister team, which is AlphaTauri, they had exactly the same car?
That'd be interesting.
Like maybe 2 or 3 updates behind.
Yeah.
And like Mercedes, whatever they sold to Aston Martin was again maybe 2 or 3 updates behind. Think how good Haas would become all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And then you'd limit it and say you can maximum have like 6 cars on the grid. But one of those teams, like your Williams, like your Haas, like maybe your Alpha, they're not going to be able to afford this year's car. So they're going to buy last year's car. Well, imagine buying last year's Red Bull.
Still competitive.
You're still going to be fast, and that's going to pull that pack back together. Because the top teams are going to want to develop because there's money in it for them, because they can sell it on.
Mm-hmm. It'd be interesting to see what happens when you've got a couple of big manufacturers joining over the next couple of seasons. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Tasty.
So the last big motorsport event was last weekend.
Yeah.
Which was Le Mans. And I'll be honest, I haven't watched that at Le Mans or be interested in Le Mans for a long time. Ended up watching little bits. I ended up watching the last hour and a half, which was very exciting. But I didn't realise that they've done a lot for this year's race to rejuvenate the interest in the race itself, because it's such an iconic race, but it's lost interest. It's been petering off, but they've done a lot to rejuvenate it. They've got big manufacturers involved with it again, because it's the first time in how long that they've had 3 different manufacturers on the podium. So
it's been... Well, Toyota had won...
Yeah.
I think they won 2 for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
But, again, like the class system, I think you agree, that having that class system on the track's fantastic. They normally have 4 classes.
Okay, and they were running 3, weren't they?
Yeah, because they're changing the bottom ones to what they can be and what they can't be. And the second class, the LMP2, that's got an amateur subsection in it.
Okay.
Or the Pro-Am there. But yeah, I fully agree. Like, I think COVID really hit them hard, and then they realised, actually, yeah, we need to try and get that magic back that we had in the 60s, 70s. Yeah, the big Ford.
Yeah, Ford versus Ferrari, yeah. But that's the first time in 45 years that Ferrari have won that, isn't it?
The first time they've entered it in 40 odd years.
Yeah, well, and they won.
Yeah.
Which is great. And what was really interesting to know is that there's a whole hoo-ha about F1 becoming carbon neutral. Like, this weekend's race literally sums up how hypocritical that whole idea is. So we've had how many races in Europe prior to this? 2. Then let's go to Canada. Then the following week we'll come back from Canada and go back to Europe again. How is that getting yourself to carbon neutral? Whereas at Le Mans, all the cars, well, I'm not too sure all the cars, but the top class and the LMP, they were all running on biofuel, bioethanol. And typical French style, the ethanol was made from discarded grape skins from wine production. And they were running performance cars.
As the car went past, you could hear it, wah, 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 and then it downshifted and you go, hoi, 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 round the corner.
But it was, I didn't know that until after the race. Like, that's incredible. Like, the performance, the sound of those. You wouldn't have thought that's being run on grape skins.
IndyCar, NASCAR, they all run on ethanol.
Is it bioethanol, though?
It's ethanol. It's cleaner than the fuel that F1 use now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all about the hybrid technology and regenerating energy and stuff like that. But it's not the same. You know, they were running monstrously powerful cars on grape juice.
Yeah.
It's just mad to get a high performance on grape juice.
And 2025, they want to have a class of hydrogen cars.
And again, that'll be quite interesting.
How are they going to refuel that? What is the system that's going to be around that? Is it going to be a fuel cell? So, like you see in the sci-fi thing of they pull something out of the vehicle,
Slot it back in,
plug a new one in.
So the question then is, so you get hydrogen domestic vehicles now. How are they refueled?
They are refueled in liquid, I believe.
So the same as like a petrol nozzle kind of thing.
Type of thing, yeah. There's not many.
Sounds about right. I have no idea.
Because I know there is an electric car company where it's like a trial one where instead of plugging your car in to charge, you literally drive it into like a gas station. You slot your car in, it takes the battery out and puts a new battery in, and off you drive. So, like you said, the fuel cell kind of system would kind of work, but that doesn't, to me, doesn't seem. It's probably safer, but doesn't seem as efficient. Of slot a nozzle in, have it being a bit more secure. Maybe then, because you don't tend to have any, because they're refueling that. I know they took refueling out of F1 because it's dangerous, but they're refueling in Le Mans because you have to, because it's 24 hours.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
but they also refuel in Indy.
They'd be tanker racing, wouldn't it? Really?
Yeah, yeah. But they refuel in Indy and in NASCAR.
Yeah, but they're weird, aren't they? Because they're the ones that they carry on their backs.
They are in NASCAR, but Indy's very similar to the way that F1 did it.
Yeah.
But because it's ethanol, it's safer because it burns at a lower temperature. But it's also more dangerous because you can't see it when it's on fire. So, 6 of 1.
Oh, yeah. It's a bit like chlorine gas. I can't see it, I can't smell it. I'm dead in 10 seconds. Am I going to be worried about that? What's that funny smell? Dead.
Final thing, just to get you maybe a little bit of interested there, Mr. War. So Ferrari have come back in and they won it. Toyota are in there. Porsche are in there. Cadillac brought an amazing sounding car.
Yeah.
Next year, Lambo.
Ooh,
Lamborghini are coming into it.
Are they making a team?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're putting a car in.
They're putting a car in.
So the reason, just to take a step with that, the reason why all these big teams have got re-involved again is because they kind of limited kind of what type of car could be entered in the unlimited class. This time they've gone, we're going to give you some, some regulations so you can't put like a jet-powered rocket in the race. But this is what the regulations need to be. You need to make it conform to this. So all the cars were different. They were powered the same way, essentially, because they said, this is the fuel, you have to run off this fuel. So the big manufacturers like Cadillac have gone, yeah, we'll have a crack at that. Ferrari have gone, oh, that sounds much more up our street rather than being told what to do. And that's why you get more like Lamborghini, like, oh, we fancy a piece of that pie, because it's a good way to test our developing technology and get it out there, our performance. So it's one of those things that's going to grow.
And like what you're saying about how they look, so you're basically told you must have an engine, it must be hybrid, you must have these features on your car, it must be this length, width, and max height. But that's it.
And that's it.
So Peugeot, they hadn't got a rear wing, but everybody else was running these massive, a variety of different types, but massive ones. Peugeot turn up like, we just not put it on, and we go racing.
Hang on, let me just try something now.
It was quite incredible the fact that they could come. Yeah, there it is. It's a sexy thing as well, I think.
So on the screen now we've got that's the Peugeot, which is the spoilerless one. With a spoiler, that's pretty cool. Is that the Toyota there? No, that's 2022.
No.
So that's the Cadillac.
Yeah.
That's the Cadillac and the Toyota, isn't it? There, this one.
Yeah, that might not be the.
That's a good one.
That's one of them. That's the Toyotas at the front there.
Yeah.
But the Ferrari was really nice, and the Porsche was the Porsche looked a little bit old school, which I quite liked. It looked a little bit like the early. Oh, there's the Ferrari.
Yeah, that is a beautiful piece of machinery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is very cool. I didn't realise that the Peugeot was spoilerless. Spoilerless. That's pretty cool.
But the way it's shaped, the air acts as if it is hitting a rear spoiler. So they get the same amount of downforce, but it's lighter because they haven't got it. Which is quite an interesting and over-engineered thing.
Yeah, it was very cool. Those cars are very, very smart. What's that one? What's that one, Kollok?
Is that the Vanderwall?
Well, it says that, yeah. So that's kind of like a small manufacturer then, isn't it?
Yeah, Independent used to be a massive race.
They were running a NASCAR as well, weren't they?
Yeah, the NASCAR 56, Jensen Button was driving it.
It overtook some of the LMP2s, didn't it?
But it ran as a individual. So it wasn't really classified against anything.
Yeah, that Peugeot is studied. No, that was pretty cool. I caught the last. What was really interesting for me was, so it's a 24-hour race. I started watching it properly with an hour and a half to go. So after 23 hours or so, the top two cars, after all that time, were only 16 seconds apart. After all that time, properly chasing each other. It was only because the Toyota driver spun off and lost all his time because he had to go to the pits and replace his front and his spoiler that he couldn't catch the Ferrari. But it's like, that's mad to get your head around.
I've just sent you a link that's got all the photos of all the side views of all the hypercars. So you can see obviously all the different colours.
Yeah. It says Caddy Daddy. Oh, it goes this way, does it? Yeah. That's another Cadillac.
So there was 3 caddies,
There's the
one blue one.
Porsche. They didn't do too well though, did they?
They did all right. I mean,
Porsche.
most of them finished.
The Toyota looked quite cool. The Ferrari just looks incredible. It's a Ferrari, isn't it, if you look at that?
I kind of wish they'd done the inverse with car 2, the number 51, of like a yellow car with red details.
Yeah, I suppose.
So you could easily differentiate them like the caddies did. You got 3 caddies, but all got different fronts to them. Yeah, they
There's
are.
the
They are
Porsche.
nice. And then you got the Glickenhaus or something like that on the end.
That's a Caddy as well. Yeah, this one here. Yeah.
But like for context, this class, it has had Bentley.
Jaguar.
Mazda used to have it. Jag, yeah. Merc used to be massive in it.
So it'd be interesting if they come. Well, yeah. It's interesting you say that.
Audi.
Do you remember the Flying Merc?
Yeah, Mark Webber, wasn't it?
Well, it was both of them, wasn't it? At one point, in one race,
Yeah.
both of them took off at the same point. And I showed my other half that video of how that car takes off, and it's
Scary.
It's scary how easily it gets airborne. Considering it's a car, it does weigh a lot, and it just takes off like a piece of paper. It's pretty nuts. Pretty nuts.
Yeah, unbelievable. I don't think there was anything else from the Le Mans bit that was worth noting. No, don't think so. Final bit of sports, golf.
A good walk.
I don't know if I don't know if either of you have been paying much attention to the world of golf over the past 18 months, 2 years.
If you're going on about the joining of the 2 series, yeah. Go on, Mr.
Yeah.
War. What's your stance on it?
Golf smack ball.
Get ball in hole.
It's obviously you had the public investment fund, who Saudi backed thing, come around and say, we want to reinvent golf, we want it to be all this, all that, throwing astronomical figures at people to come and join it. A lot of the older boys did because it was definite money. People who were struggling on the PGA did because it's definite money. So it then caused a split, and the PGA turned around and said, well, that's fine. If you want to join that, you're banned. You can't join any PGA event. You can't go to the Ryder Cup, which is like, well, it's like the World Cup of golf, really.
Yeah.
As team events go.
Yeah.
Even though it's only between 2 people. Anyway. Then the DP World Tour, which has just been rebranded to that from the European Tour, said to all the European people, yes, same. You want to go and do this, fine, you're banned.
Yeah.
Now,
and then
they're in a bit of a sticky situation because they've now joined forces.
Yeah, and the way it happened was literally overnight, and nobody knew that the 2 organisations were talking. Nobody
Yeah.
knew until they announced it the next morning. So you're talking
I got
big names in golf, like Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, big names in golf,
Phil Mickelson.
woke up in the morning to be told, "Oh yeah, we've merged. We're one big golfing organisation now."
Again.
Yeah.
But like you got like Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy. They're like no PGA. McIlroy was very vocal about it. Mickelson moved, and now Mickelson's back, and it's kind of like this is now going to be really awkward. But the really awkward bit from like the Pride side of it is the US PGA has turned around and said, "Well, as we were all back together, because we banned you, but we didn't strip you your tour cards, you can still play in the Ryder Cup." The DP World Tour stripped all the players of tour cards.
Oh, okay.
So all the European guys that went to the Live Golf Tour and are now back in the PGA, they can play in the States, but they can't play in Europe, and they can't play in the Ryder Cup. I think they fined everybody $100,000 as well.
They did, yeah. That was the other thing. Is like, and that was the first thing that a lot of the golfers asked was, "Hang on, I was fined and banned, so what's happening with my fine now?
Do I get my fine back?"
But
realistically, yeah.
Well, the sports arbitration panel has said, well, that fine and penalty was relevant at the time. Just because they've merged now doesn't mean that's you to get refunded your fine.
What about the tour cards though?
Yeah, that's I didn't know that. That's quite difficult.
That's the bit because you can't just give them all back.
That's like getting a fine for throwing some rubbish on the floor. Then the next day they're throwing a parade saying it's national throw your rubbish on the floor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Or like being really badly told off and given a fine for going and seeing friends when you're all been told to stay indoors, and then finding out that the leader of the country is having a party.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I see what you did there. Politics. Good old Boris.
Sneaky.
Here comes another good segue if you're ready.
Go on.
So, these guys are taking getting fined like £100,000 and then getting told you can't come here. But what happens if there's a buyout? It's kind of like being fined $25 for changing where you want to put your content.
Oh, I love your
segue.
segue.
To a system which is exactly the same but just in green.
Love your segue. Love it.
Now, again, all I saw was a tweet about this. Thank you. I don't know if that come through, but
it did.
I heard the drum.
It's blocked the camera for Mr. War though, so I can't have that open all the time. That's annoying.
Can you repeat that? I've seen you put something about it. Now, what now?
So I saw a tweet, and this is all I saw. I just saw a retweet from Kick saying we will pay the $25.
Right. Let's
take a step back.
For those of us not in the know.
Yeah,
for those of us not in the know, right? I'm assuming it's in regards to this email where they changed the terms and conditions, and everyone just went, yeah, probably, yeah. But anyone actually with common sense actually looked at it. So I know there's something to do with you're not allowed to post as a VOD of it in the first 24 hours on the same platform on anyone but Twitch.
But that was, in my understanding goes, that's always been.
Yeah, that's always what Kollok's on about is that if you were a partner and you wanted to leave Twitch
or affiliate,
you had to pay $25 to leave the platform.
But why?
Otherwise, because you signed a contract. If you're an affiliate or a partner, you signed a contract with Twitch.
Why would you pay to leave? Why wouldn't you just leave it going and just go and sign up for Kick and just do whatever?
Because if you read your contract and your TOS, it says that on there. Like it's the whole you can't stream on multiple platforms at the same time. They had it before. They had it. You can only stream on our platform. Full stop.
It's literally gonna go.
Yeah, it's. I know we're streaming on Twitch right now, but it's literally
irony.
Yeah, it's literally that way, isn't it? It's the platform is good for what it is, but how they're trying to get money out of everyone on Twitch is a bit too far. So the email you're on about, Mr. War, was one they sent out. They tried to change the rules regarding if you had sponsorship deals. So if you were being sponsored, not by Twitch, if you were streaming and you had a sponsored stream, like I'm sponsored by SteelSeries.
Yeah.
They changed the rules so they'd be able to take a cut of your sponsorship.
You're fucking joking.
No. That's why everyone
kicked off. Is this an 18 rated VOD? podcast.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah.
Yeah, my response would have been,
I could
"Suck
do
my balls."
Hang on, can I beep that out? Where's the beep button? Is it retrospective?
Suck my
There we go.
Yeah, but I can't move. The thing is, it keeps when I keep opening the soundboard up, it goes over Mr. War's camera. That's quite.
I'm literally waiting for that. Do you remember the old ventrilo noise? Has been banned from the channel.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're banned.
wait. Why are you not live anymore, Luz? I didn't like the truth.
They were scared of the truth.
Oh, hang on. See, look, you've said
With the band.
you've said a word too many times. So you've said the word balls too many times, and look who you've summoned, Mr. Phantom.
Oh my
Hello, welcome.
Irony.
So yeah, it's say his name too many times, he shall appear. So well, you might be right there, Silent Boy. But I was under the understanding they were taking a cut of sponsorships because if they're the money grabbing organisation that we all know they are, that would make more sense than telling people they couldn't be sponsored. It might have to have a look into it, but that was my understanding of it, that they could claim a percentage of a sponsorship deal that you had. And seeing that Twitch is, a difficult platform to keep consistent income going, a lot of big streamers would make probably more money off sponsorship than the actual subs themselves. And yeah, like you say, Silent Boy, they have gone back on it, but they've just reworded the language, like you say in the TOS. But I think we talked last podcast about moving to Kick or even YouTube's. Like, YouTube's good, and I know that one of my favourite streamers was streaming on YouTube today, and he literally goes, I'm streaming on YouTube today because I can do 1440p and my bitrate can be 45,000 and 60 FPS. He goes, however, for the interaction with you guys, my viewers, it's not very good with emotes. The chat's not very easy to follow as a streamer, so it's not very streamer friendly. That's if YouTube had that right, they'd walk all over Twitch because you can control how much your subs are.
See, for like someone like myself, I'd do that. Like, if I can control how much my subs are, everything's going to be like quid.
Mm-hmm.
And then set like the max one, which is like 15 quid or something on here.
Yeah, and you could do your levels.
That's like I could put that to like a fiver, because if you're willing over here to spend that 3, 4, 5 quid, whatever it is, with the British, I think it's $3.99, isn't it, for us?
Yeah.
Well, what's the difference between that and a five? I could put that as my top level.
Yeah, and that's what I do.
And that's then more
perks.
enticing. You think, well, I was spending that when he was on a different platform, so I'm comfortable to spend that now. But if you're also thinking, not sure, a quid's a quid, it ain't much. I know, obviously, cause he lives and all that, but relative terms.
No, yeah,
it's
exactly.
not much. It's only about 4 Freddos these days, so
it'd be, isn't it just one Freddo? Because I'm sure you'd find as well, if you had, like example of £1, if you had your Twitch sub as £1, overall, more people would put in £1. It's like, it's only a quid. Again, cost of living, that might be a bit bad for me to say, but £1's better than a fiver. It's like, I don't mind paying £1 a month to have some extra emotes and be able to interact more with the chat. And you'll probably find that you might end up with 20 subs as opposed to 4 subs sitting at a £5 each. Well, thank you for dropping in, Phantom. You're always appreciated. I had to catch next time.
Is that a euphemism?
I'm not saying anything.
Okay, we'll move on.
So the world of streaming platforms is quite interesting. I still need to look into Kick. And I think we've had a conversation, haven't we, Kollok, about what the future is for content for us.
Yeah.
So we do have. I don't want to give too much away. We do have a plan afoot for some more Kollok content.
Yeah.
Which would be interesting. Bit more of a direction in where we want to go, and hopefully something that everyone's going to find a bit more entertaining.
And I think the big thing for us as well is like the concise effort of a kind of script.
Yeah. Bit more of a narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's always been the bit I've really struggled with. Like figuring out what I'm doing. Like I can plan the first 25 minutes, but after that, I'm fully winging it. And some days I think it's obvious, and other days I think, no, I don't think you could tell that. I think it worked well.
And I think we were when we were talking the other night, we've established some kind of, we were talking about some scenarios, some ground rules, to make sure, you know, we're focusing on the right thing when we start doing that. So no, I'm quite hyped about it. Just need to start doing it, really, don't we?
Yep.
Mondays. Yeah, that's what we're going to do it. And then I need to have a quick rapid, as editor, I need to have a quick turnaround and get them on there. But that should be easier.
Yeah.
But even that is, we've got some ideas for that as well. So that'd be good. It's exciting. Okay. Moving on. Is there anything upgrade-wise that you boys have kind of been tempted with recently? Or is it the same as last time?
Same as normal, really.
It's not a tech.
Chickle and pickle.
You got something new.
Upgrade.
Go on.
Yeah.
Go on.
So as we all know, I've been driving around in that fabulous blue lagoon.
He just can't help himself, can he?
However long. And yeah, it was just before we went on holiday. I agreed, paid, and received. Leave it. A new to me pickup truck.
Oh yeah, cool.
So
The Kollok mobile.
Yeah, so brand new for me. It is in a fantastic burnt orange.
I like the colour, but I'm Dutch.
It is a really nice colour.
I like gold.
I'm freaky deaky Dutch. Isn't that weird? Without. I'm trying to think of the words now. Without forcing myself upon you, Kollok. Waiting for Phantom. I'm waiting for Phantom to join the chat again. We've talked before, or mentioned briefly, about having a barbecue at some point in the summer. Is that something that you're still looking to facilitate?
Yeah, it is. It might be back end of the summer.
That's fine.
Because of work and everything like that. But yeah, try and get a good.
And hilariously, I've just realised on the topic of what are we watching. The most exciting thing I've been watching, I can't believe I forgot to mention it to you guys. I see. We said force yourself upon you again, and look who's back in the chat.
I was going to count how times you said barbecue. I'm not going to lie and see whether it's just puffed and smoke.
Barbecue. No. But right, I've been watching. There's a series on Netflix. What's it called? It's like a barbecue cooking program competition.
I know what you're talking about.
I've been watching it.
I can picture the image on the screen.
It's really good.
Yeah,
smoke off.
Yeah, it's like a barbecue cook-off or something like that. And to be honest with you, what me and the other half have really found watching it is that we had this kind of pretense that all American food, it was just about portion size, and from what we've experienced of American food, so we're going to like American diners here, it's tasteless. It's a lot of it, but it doesn't taste of anything. But watching this American, that's it, Barbecue Showdown, thank you, Todd. But watching Barbecue Showdown, the amount of actual preparation and seasoning that goes into what they do as a proper barbecue is like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth a watch. It's so good.
I got bought some barbecue rub Christmas. Tried it on a bit of pork. Oh, it's like you because I haven't got a proper smoker. You basically wrap the pork in tinfoil and bang it in the oven on a really low heat. Then fry it and then put it back in with the rub and let it just fester in all the juices. And because of the way you're doing it in the oven, you have to basically cut the top off because it basically just like boils that.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of it is proper. You can just pull it apart with your fingers. It's so soft. It is. Yeah. It's like having an ice cream. It literally is melting in your mouth, but it is meat.
Yeah.
You're getting a soft, succulent meat in your mouth.
And it's something that I've really developed a craving for this at the moment, especially with like the summer vibes. Next door having barbecues all the time. I really want to have a barbecue. Yeah. I just want to, but I want it to, like, barbecues for me growing up was you had your like your round barbecue, throw the coals in, get it super hot, the food go on the griddle. Nobody really knew how to do barbecue properly, so it'd be overcooked, burnt, not very good. But there's a whole science behind it. You shouldn't put it on the direct heat. It depends on what kind of fuel you use, what type of barbecue you use. It's like, I want to do barbecue properly.
Yeah. I haven't got the facilities for that, but yeah, I can buy one of the trays we put on the floor.
Or disposable one.
Yeah, but I have got.
That's what one of the half said to me.
Skillet.
I said, I want to buy, for Father's Day, I want a barbecue. And her response was, well, you've got some in the loft. I'm sat there going, we haven't got a barbecue in the loft. What you on about? And she meant one of those instant barbecue kits, which is with the tray with the coal, and it's got, all you do is light it and off it goes, and on all your food that comes off it just smells like lighter fuel. It was like, that's what you mean. It's like that. It's like that meme, isn't it? The barbecue at home. Your mum says it says, don't want a barbecue. We've got a barbecue at home, and then they pull out that. Yeah,
unbelievable.
But no, yeah. So that's so I've been watching.
Whilst you have a coughing fit, I'm just going to grab a drink.
Oh,
unfortunately, I'm not like you two though. I can't take my headphones with me.
So I'm being abandoned because Mr. Ward's just gone for a comfort break, and you're abandoning me to get a drink. So it's just me chatting to myself.
Hey, take 30 seconds.
Take 30 seconds. Yeah. Just hurry up. That's all I'm going to say. But I'll just I need to have a think about what else we've got on our agenda of stuff to talk about. If you're still lurking about the chat, what give us a get Mr. Ward to use his headset mic? No, that would be awkward. I don't even know if he's gone for number 1 or number 2, to be honest. So how awkward is that? He's back now.
Probably sitting there going,
turn the mic on.
Yeah, curling one out. Lovely juggler.
King fucking Whippy. Right. Whoa.
I didn't hear the ice cream man round the corner.
Do you a little jingle?
Right, so now that Kollok is back and watered, and you've relieved yourself, what else?
He's going in him was out of me.
Yeah, well,
Whoa.
It's because I'm not at the point yet where I have to get up in the night. I can still sleep through the night.
Oh yeah. I'm old.
Yeah, you jog on. So, interesting tech, and on the topic of, oh, here we go. This is convenient. So if this form of content was to come to something, this would be, it's only just come out, would be the next investment for me.
Oh.
So Elgato, I was already looking at getting their face cam. It was like a 1080p 60 hertz camera. But what's good for where I want to head, so the ultimate goal is we sit around the table and we have this podcast face to face. Obviously that depends on whether we engage Kollok with facecam, but he can be, blurred out or whatever. That's fine. That's up to him. One of the good things about the facecam, the original one, is it's quite a wide angle lens, so it's perfect for that kind of scenario. Elgato have just released this Facecam Pro, which is a 4K 60 FPS webcam wide angle. Everyone
you said that like a QVC presenter. 60-inch FPS
for an all-time low price.
I interrupted your flow then. I apologise.
Yeah.
You carry on.
No,
Sell me your wares.
Well, no, it's not. It is an investment.
No joking.
But one of the things for people to get their head around is like, this is not a cheap product. I'll tell you that now. It's not cheap. It's 300 quid for a webcam, right?
Wowzers.
But, okay, a £400 DSLR, so a camera of the same, a camera, there's a £400 DSLR camera for 4K will only do 30 FPS. So for that £300, you're getting a lot for your money. To have the same kind of DSLR quality from that this camera gives, you're talking about a K, easy peasy.
I could take that amount of money to the pound shop and get a lot more money.
I'll have. I can
Just saying.
I can get 30 webcams. Now I'm in 4K, bitch.
3 million fruit salads.
But yeah, it's a lot of money. But it's 4K, 60 FPS. It'll be the next investment, I think, for me.
Jeez.
For this kind of content. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, what about next investments, big money and properly invest in? Have you boys seen about the Apple Vision Pro?
Oh my god. Hang on. Right, I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna stop you before we go with this.
You said Apple, you lost me.
This is an Apple free zone. I'm only gonna say this statement once.
What about bananas?
I understand. Fuck's sake. I understand that people like Apple think that Apple are the best products, but this is all down to the power of their brand. In reality, their products are nowhere near as good as similar companies. How they limit what you can do on an Apple phone versus an Android, and how they can literally dictate to you, you've had your phone for 2 years, you're due an upgrade, so we're going to fuck your phone up with an update. They literally have admitted they do that, and they do that. Why would you want to invest? Why do you? Yeah.
You mean that thing where
they deliberately, so as they've updated iOSs to try and get people off like iPhone 6s and things, older gen iPhones, nothing wrong with those phones, but they admitted that they deliberately, in the iOS updates, would slow down older generation of phones and increase the battery drain on them.
It's bad, isn't it? That is naughty, man.
Why would you want to entertain? And I know what you're going to say. Why? And again, why would you want to spend $4,000 on a VR headset when $4,000 buys you
a top VR? It's augmented reality,
whatever it is. When $4,000 would buy you a 4K gaming beast and everything you need, and all you'd have to do is spend £300 on a VR kit.
Oh, well, I'm glad we managed to get
it's
that.
The power. It's the power of the product. How much was it? How much when they did their iMac Pro? How much were the wheels for that? Do you remember seeing that? So you get an iMac Pro, right? Just the case. But if you wanted the wheels, i.e. the stand to go on it, it was £750 just for the fucking wheels. This is. It makes me angry that people buy into that shit and keep buying their products. So unfortunately, Kollok, we're not to talk about Apple in this stream.
Well, it is thing, and it's a bit on the topic of let's have a bit of a fun with this.
Go on.
So the Apple Vision Pro, I presume you have seen some photos and stuff like that.
I have. Oh yeah, I have. I
so
digest.
When you wear it, someone looking at you can see your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
No, they can see a photo of your eyes.
Okay.
They don't blink.
But
so you could put them on and die, and someone's just looking at you and staring back at you.
and die?
Yeah, like, that photo does not change. Like, it puts it on. It's a photo from when you put them on. So you have your, like, you pull a slightly cock eye, and that's it. You're done.
Brilliant. Love that.
Like,
I didn't know that. That's fun. It's
yeah.
The thing is about the Apple Vision Pro, it's just meme content, isn't it? It's all about the memes.
Yes.
It isn't it? It's just so funny. It's a bit like that. Have you seen the Dyson headphone air purifier you can get? Have you seen this, boys?
Just fuck off. Like,
No.
I can't. No.
Was it who was it that did the COVID masks?
No.
With the RGBs in them.
No, that was Razer, but they actually ended up making that.
Yeah.
They actually ended up making that. Here are Mr. War on the stream right now.
No.
There you go.
No.
Dyson Zone Absolute. It's an air filter, and I think it's headphones.
Oh, it's got the bit. Yeah, I remember seeing them. They were very Matrix, futuristic type.
£800, boys.
Bonkers.
Yeah, that's nuts, isn't it?
That's going on my Christmas list.
Yeah, that's a worthy investment, I think. Oh God. Yeah, the Apple Vision Pros. There'll be like attachments for that will cost ridiculous money, but 4K is a lot to be spending on an augmented reality headset, isn't it? Really?
It's a lot of money just to be spending on something that needs something else to work.
Yes.
Just nah, man.
It's Typical Apple. People buy it though because they believe it.
It's Apple.
They've been hypnotized by the power of the brand.
Well, obviously it's better because all my stuff's Apple. It's like, yeah, but you're limited.
And people don't realise what they're limited to. So when I have this argument all the time, it's like, oh, can you help me with my iPhone? It's like, I'll literally take it off and look at them and say, oh, I know where you went wrong. And they go, where? I said, you got an iPhone. It's like, mother off. When I first got with her, she's had iPhones all her life. But when she upgraded and she went to a Galaxy phone, an Android, it blew her mind. It's like, wow, this. I'm sorry. What? How have I kind of limited myself so much? It's nuts.
Yeah, and with so both me and the good lady both have Galaxies. I've always had the S range.
Mm-hmm.
She's always had the A's. they're relatively the same. The cameras are the differences. The sizing slightly different, and the shaping. Mine's a bit more rounded. The corners, hers is a bit squarer.
Yep.
Hers came out at the same time as mine, and it was cheaper, but mine's got a better camera, more storage, stuff like that. But they had, when you look at whatever the top flight Samsung is now, that is the price it is. But then you can get one that's slightly worse for a lot cheaper, and then slightly worse again for a lot cheaper. And that really bad one is still a bloody good phone.
See, my work phone is, like you say, is a Samsung A. That's an A32, right?
Yeah.
When I got that as a work phone, I went, bloody hell, it's very good. A lot of the managers that have those phones, the engineers and managers have these phones. A lot of them are gone, well, it carries dual SIM as well. They've gone, I've put my personal SIM in that and I've binned off my old phone. Yeah, because it does everything. It's, the camera is phenomenal. Yeah. Why not? I just love the fast charge on my OnePlus. But what's frustrating, and it's like I'm due an upgrade in November, so it's a little while away yet. So, me being a bit of a tech nerd, I start looking now, don't I? The selection you get, I'm with 3. Selection you get on there, it's like, what? You have Apple, Samsung, and then about 5 other manufacturers. Like, well, I don't want Apple. Samsung, I think, yes, they're good phones, but they're overpriced. Because my OnePlus does everything that my Samsung Note 10 Plus did, and more. But they don't do it anymore. They don't do any OnePlus. However, I saw today that Vodafone and 3 have just put forward that they want to merge. Yes.
Yeah.
Because Virgin and O2 already merged.
I was going to say, didn't they merge?
Yeah. So they became the biggest. Virgin O2 is now the biggest provider in the UK. They have 23 million people. If 3 and Vodafone join forces, they'd have 27 million. So they become the biggest provider. So when you have such a big company that could be as a product of of these two companies combining, it does have to go through all the panels, doesn't it?
But yeah, monopoly. Yeah. Monopoly.
Well, you don't want a monopoly on it.
It's not monopoly. It's what they want to look at is to make sure that it's not. It's more to do with competition, isn't it? It's not. It's not going to push prices up. So yeah, it's a little bit of monopoly, but not because obviously you're going to have another. There's another big company out there that you can go to, but it limits your availability and it offers the opportunity to up their prices. They want to make sure that the prices stay the same.
Cool.
Anything else that you boys just wanted to chinwig about? I'm just trying to think if there was anything ridiculous I saw. Any films that we've seen that we're going to be watching or would like to go to the cinema to watch?
Oppenheim.
So I'm seeing that, and I'm not. I need to look into what it is.
About the creation of the atom bomb.
Yeah, the atom bomb.
Okay, that sounds like it'd be interesting. Guardians, I'd probably go and see that, to be honest. Which one's that? Is that the 4th one now? The 3rd one.
The last one, isn't it? That's what they're doing.
And I know that you boys really. I'm surprised you haven't been to see Barbie yet.
See what now?
Barbie.
Yeah.
Or My Little Mermaid.
I've heard it's apparently it's absolutely bombed.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm I do want to see the new Avatar, but that's coming out into, I think it's going to be on Disney soon, isn't it? So I want to watch that. That's meant to be quite good.
I was gonna, but I might wait for it. John Wick as well. I ain't seen it yet.
Oh, the new one. Yeah, I'd watch that. I'd definitely watch that. So have we got, just to keep the conversation going, you've just been on holiday, Kollok. Have you got anything the next one lined up?
Not at the minute. We're looking maybe doing a few long weekends, sort of September, October. I'd love to go out to Italy. I thoroughly enjoyed it there. Seeing how work goes for the next couple of months, I might see if we can be dead cheeky and try and get a trip. Late January, go on a quick 4 or 5 day ski holiday. I'd love to be able to do that one.
Okay.
I'd love to be able to back out on my sticks. Be class. No, so if you want a ski instructor, I know one.
Mr. War? Sorry, have you go on? Sorry, I'd cut you up there, Mr. Kollok. Go on.
Apart from that, Finn.
Not even like you said, just a couple of long weekends away. Then I'm taking it, or is that just long weekends at home?
No long weekends away. Looking at just like cheapo flights out on a Thursday night, back Sunday.
Okay, nice. Mr. War?
I mean, we're planning something for your holiday.
Yes.
I think I'm going to dip away for Saturday till Sunday this week for Stratford. See with the butterfly farm for the little one. Is that any good?
Mm-hmm. No, that'd be should be fun.
That one for Ash should be quite good.
Yeah. So I'm planning an 18th kind of birthday weekend away. I've asked my lad, what does he want to do for his 18th? You know, do you want to ask him what he wanted to do? He didn't know. So Mr. War suggested, well, why don't we have a bit of a lads' weekend away? Let's go like Dublin or something. So I suggested this to him.
Explain why, though.
Go on.
Because the drink thing.
Oh yeah, so he doesn't necessarily want to go out with friends and family because he doesn't really like drinking as such. So it's like, okay, well, if we have a me, Mr. War, and him weekend away, you feel a bit more comfortable. As your dad, I'd like to buy you, a drink because that's a traditional kind of thing to do. So I asked him, have a think about where you want to go. What if there's anywhere that you want to go or something's on in a particular city somewhere you want to go. The first place he suggested was going to Japan. Yeah, I don't think so. Not for a weekend. And he goes. No. Then he went, I guess Dubai is out of the question. Yes, son, Dubai is also out of the question.
You just pull out my winning lottery ticket.
Yeah, unless my podcast takes off in the next month.
Yeah, we need a massive sponsorship deal from Saudi.
Yeah. So then he calls me a bit later. It's like, could we, stay in a haunted house? And it's like, what, you mean something like, Most Haunted or a ghost hunt? He goes, do they do things like that? I said, yeah, of course they do. You can book experiences where you stay overnight in a haunted house and you go on, do all the stuff you see on TV. You get the equipment out and, there's someone that leads you and, you have Ouija boards and seances and all that crap. So for his 18th...
All that crap.
For his 18th, non-believer.
Open-minded, obviously.
I am open-minded. That's that.
Yeah.
This will be the topic of conversation when we do that podcast after that weekend. So what I've booked us is...
You're just sitting there going, it was all real. They did things.
Well, after I've told you the scenario around it, I will give you a little insight into me and Mr. War's history, shall we say.
Is it Dead Pixels?
No, not that. No.
Dead Pixels.
No. I don't know what you mean.
I am going to emasculate you like the little bitch you are. So I have
no idea what you're going with.
I've booked us a weekend in Liverpool, and we're overnighting in an abandoned orphanage and mental health hospital in Liverpool on a ghost hunt.
So not only you're not going to be able to understand them, but you're also not going to be able to understand them.
And they're going to steal my wallet, yeah.
Yeah. And you'll come outside and your car's going to be on bricks.
Well, there'll be ghost bricks, won't they? So
yeah, your car just floating, hovering about 8 inches
like
off
Harry
the floor.
Potter style.
Yeah.
So we turn up at the hospital at this abandoned building at 8:00. and we're there till 3 in the morning hunting ghosts.
Oh,
So that's going to be quite interesting. So when I told Mr. Ward that this was a possibility, it was going to happen, he was kind of like, I might not enjoy that as much, because it's not necessarily our thing. And what I will tell you is that when I was newly single, shall we say, and Mr. War was keeping me company at nights, we had late nights playing Dead Space, sat in the dark in my empty house, and there'd be occasions like, we need to stop playing this game. Can we just can we cuddle each other in bed, please?
Why do you think these fuckers have like cats on the street? They're like that.
Yeah, we were. It's like, can we sleep with the light on, please? It was. Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Your recollection. Maybe I was the front spoon because my recollection of that is different from yours.
Yeah, you got a different thing to be scared of.
Yeah. I didn't. It's only if you push back, lot.
Oh my god!
You've got a different recollection because you remember feeling nice and secure and safe and warm.
He told me it was a nightlight.
Oh god! I thought you said flashlight.
I have to start calling you Philip.
Oh dear! Oh my god! Where have we delved into? So that's I suppose the next little break I have away, because that'll be first weekend in August.
Bank holiday weekend, isn't it?
Is it?
I could be chatting.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think it's the 4th, isn't it? The last weekend in August is bank holiday.
No idea.
Right.
Well, no, it is. Oh, it is bank holiday weekend. Didn't know that.
Is the bank holiday to Friday?
4th, 5th, and 6th.
Yeah, it's the Monday.
No, I think they're having the bank holiday on the Wednesday this year.
Oh, if you're going to say if it's bank holiday on the Friday, I've got it booked off by proxy.
Yeah, no, not now.
It's 4th, 5th, it's 5th, 6th, 7th.
Okay, well that means we could extend our stay a little bit, doesn't it?
In Liverpool. Just remember, you're in Liverpool.
Yeah, I have had people tell me to be careful. It's like I said, yeah, when it gets to 3 in the morning, we'll probably be quite tired. I'm looking at staying somewhere close to a hotel close, so we'll probably walk there. And I was told under no uncertain terms, you are not to walk in Liverpool at 3 a.m. in the morning because bad things will happen. So, okay, fair enough. I'll get an Uber. But yeah, so that's going to be interesting. We will discuss that in the podcast when we're back in August, and I'll make sure to be able to flash up some of the pictures that we do have taken, or the experiences. Trying to take some video of the experiences we have encountered, because that could be quite funny. Apart from that, we're just looking. Me and the other half tend to, more her. She has a look around to try and see if she can pick up like last minute deals. So I think it was last year we managed to have a week away in Butlins Minehead for literally peanuts, which blew our minds. But the quality of what we got for how much we paid for it was superb. Really, really good. Definitely do that again. And also just like a cheeky break back to Holland, back home. Go and see family over there as well. Just keeping an eye on flights and stuff and seeing if we can go back there, because we really enjoyed that as well.
Just remember though, Brexit means Brexit. We might not let you back in.
You made your choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at your economy now, British people. You voted for that shit. Without getting too political, on the morning, right? This is on the morning after the Brexit vote came out. I turned up to work, so I've been watching it live. When I got in, put my laptop in, log in. My manager walks in and goes, "What are you doing here? The country has voted. Pack up your stuff. Get out." Right. Throughout the day, he's like, "I'm not joking. Why are you still here? Get out." He was obviously joking, but yeah, that's
or was he?
Yeah, that's this is
secretly he got the sack 4 years ago. Yeah. You just don't know.
They're still paying me. But this is the same manager that in a HR meeting to do with banter. So we had a big meeting where we were being dragged in by HR to do with kind of equality and banter.
God.
He said something. And he's like, so he goes, so what do you mean? So basically, you're telling me I can't call Loz clogs. And she looked at the HR manager, goes, well, obviously not. And why clogs? I said, well, he's Dutch, clogs, Dutch. And she's like, definitely you can't call him that. And he goes, oh, okay then, but it's all right for him to call me Big Gay John every day, is it? and it was like that. It was like the whole office kind of thing. It's like, I can't believe I'm having this HR meeting in this office because it's what's the point?
Oh, we always have some type of thing like that.
They try to. We've all signed a banter policy. As people were signing it, so okay, here we go, the no fun policy. Then it's like, how do we get through our day? You're telling me that when my boss comes in wearing a ridiculous outfit like he always does at least once a week, I can't. I just have to sit there and accept that that's okay. So, contract director's off at the moment this week. He's come in on Monday, like an extra from Miami Vice. So, white t-shirt, open shirt.
Shorts?
No, that would have been too far. But kind of
Sandals?
summery shorts and like boat shoes.
Okay, yeah.
And it's like, what are you doing? Is this like when you have work at 12, but then you've got to sail the boat at 1? What the fuck are you doing? Or I've got a dodgy drug deal to go and do in Miami at 1. It's like, what are you doing? Is this too hot? I said, but you can't. That's not appropriate office wear. What are you doing?
Yeah, we had this conversation because I wore a summery shirt and a pair of chino shorts to work on Tuesday.
That's what I was looking for, the type of trousers, chinos. But go on,
Yeah,
continue.
and I was planning on wearing them tomorrow. And I don't believe it's unprofessional. It is mid-20s outside. I'm not wearing scruffy shorts. They're a nice pair of chino shorts. I'm wearing a shirt that I would normally wear. It's just a bit more summery because it's baking hot.
But
I haven't got any in-person meetings.
But still, it's an office that knows you. You're an active employee there. You've been there for a while. Okay? You would not turn up to an interview wearing that, would you?
No.
No.
But again, if I had an in-person meeting...
Guess what happened to me this week in an interview?
You fucking joking.
So I was supporting doing an interview this week, and the chaps turned up. I went to I was told, oh, he's here for his interview. So, okay. So I popped to the loo. He's there on reception.
And he looked at him as like, that can't be him.
And I felt like going to him and saying, oh, mate, if you're here for a delivery, you leave them at the service yard. That's literally what I thought. And then when I was like, he's here for an interview. Okay. Yeah, that's not.
How bad t-shirt? Was it t-shirt and shorts?
Yeah.
Oh, nah.
At least, I'm wearing a nice shirt.
Nah,
it's just summery.
So even where me and Mr. Ward used to work, that would not be acceptable. You want something with a collar and some trousers and some shoes as a minimum, or smart trainers.
Yeah, black jeans minimum law.
Not like I'm just here because I've got 10 minutes to spare before going out into the park. Nah.
Nah, man. That's not.
Well, there was apparently somebody last week that was saying that men shouldn't be allowed to wear shorts in the office.
See, the thing is, yes, but
but equality, women can wear knee-length skirts.
The problem being that in the office I work in, you have to wear full-length trousers for the health and safety because potentially you could be dealing with machinery in a plant room.
Yeah, we don't.
So if the engineers can't wear shorts, it's not fair for us to wear shorts, which is fair. I get that.
Ours was that it doesn't look very professional. We were like, women can wear knee-length skirts. They could wear knee-length.
Yeah, that I'd agree with.
But that's different. It's not. It's not different at all. They're going to wear that because they're baking hot like we all are.
Yeah, you just wanted to wear your knee-length skirt, didn't you, Kollok?
Well, there was somebody who jokingly said in the office the other day, you can't wear those here. You need to... So about my shorts, I did turn around and say, "That's fine. I can take them off."
Well, yeah, that answers that. That stops that question.
I'm
That
not
stops that
going
issue.
home.
Yeah, that stops that issue.
The alternative is a thong.
Yeah, I'll go commando.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm quite okay with that. It's a bit warm. Let the boys breathe.
yeah, let the boys breathe. I've run out of talcum powder.
Ran out of talcum powder, started putting flour down there. Now I've got this like batter.
Oh,
Baking a cake.
Yorkshire puddings.
yeah. Batter
If
balls.
that's what you call them.
Yeah, it's a sugar ring donut, that love.
Oh, fucking hell.
Oh dear.
Sugar ring and donut.
So are we all
I had a
around?
funny...
Go on.
I was just going to say I had a funny moment earlier.
Go on.
I forgot to mention.
Go on.
My sunglasses on the train platform. I won't say what religion, race these people were. Two youngish little schoolgirls. I stood there and they get really close to me. And there was this four guy. You know, in school, boys will tease you and they must be flirting or God knows what. When we do as kids, there's four boys, like flicking water bottle at these two girls, and they're slowly getting close. I'm stood up on a metal bar. There's no one around, and yet they get stood right next to me. I'm practically nearly doing this. I'm like, are you for real? Well, there's no one here on this platform, but you're doing this. And these four kids are going on and on, and the water's slowly getting close to me. And I don't know what possessed me. You know when you just lose your head. And I looked up and I said, "Oh God, what did I say? I've got to say it right. Cold as ice with sunshades on." So they didn't know which four of I was looking at. Just looked at in the direction. I said, "That water splashes me. One of you's going to die."
That was a reasonable response.
I've never seen four lads crap themselves so quick.
Yeah, that seemed like an appropriate response.
Yeah.
But they were like, it must have been year 11s. But I don't know what. I just lost my head. Just calm and cold as ice. So you
get that.
You send it in the way that made it sound like you could say it.
I will do it. Like not even angry, just calm and collectively. That water splashes me. One of you's going to die.
Stood on the train station. That's not good. Yeah.
Out of the four of them, though, one of them would have stood there and gone, "Oh bloody hell!" It bet it's Pete. Like that. Like he'll pick who's the one that's going to die.
Yeah, it literally like one of you, and they're all looking. You must be in your head thinking, "Is it me? Is it me?
Which one?
Am I going to die?"
Which one?
One of them's definitely thought, "Oh, it's definitely Dave."
Not even people. They're just,
I definitely singled one out.
You know when you think, did that come out of my mouth? And you think, oops, maybe that was a bit too harsh. But like, it's just something possessed me. Just one of you is going to die.
Yeah.
It's only water, but one of you is going to die.
Yeah, this is where in about 10 minutes you get a knock from the police going.
Can we have a word, please?
We believe you threatened some miners the other day, and we're not talking about.
It wasn't a threat. It was a
promise.
It was a suggestion of recourse. No, let's do the line properly. Do you know what the meaning of nemesis is? It's righteous infliction of retribution.
No, stop.
Inflicted by an appropriate agent. In this case, an horrible cunt.
Were you standing up at the time?
Yeah. But just imagine you're on the platform, there's no one on the platform apart from like three people, and the platform's really long, and they come and stand right next to you.
I'm just thinking about an angry midget shouting at me now.
Yeah. Alan! Yeah, we'll see it on social media at the moment. Yeah. Midget gets annoyed about potentially getting wet and shrinking further.
Thinks he could drown.
Yeah.
Wait, am I the midget?
Yeah. That joke was obviously too high level.
Yeah, it went over my head, mate.
Oh no, dad jokes are coming.
Get out!
Oh yeah, I was driving. So getting rid of the Citroen, driving down the road. Obviously, as you know, it's got a few faults with it. Went to brake, nothing. Bang. Oh no. Gets out of the car and it was a dwarf. Started walking towards me, shouting at me, "I'm not happy." I said, "Well, which one are you then?"
No.
Yes.
No.
Oh, I've got a really coarse one for you if you want.
Oh, go on. We're here now. We're here now.
Yeah.
We're already at this level now.
Paddy bought his wife 30-something roses. Got them home, gave them to his wife. Says, "Here you go. Here's some roses for you." She looks at them and then led him upstairs, undressed, laid on the bed, and opened her legs. And says, "Here you go, Paddy. This is for the roses." And he says, "Why? We've not got a vase?"
Fucking hell.
Oh my god.
I respect it. Doesn't mean I'm going to laugh.
No, that was a good answer, Tom. I appreciate that. I don't think I could be as civil.
It did make me chuckle internally.
It's one of those you have to chuckle at it, but you don't know if you're going to laugh at it.
Yeah. Oh my god. Mr. War, it's your turn. You normally got shit.
We was discussing this earlier in work. Was just asking, where's your level? Where's your line?
Everything's funny.
There must be something where it's not taboo, but there must be something where there's a section of humour where you go, I don't find that funny in the slightest. I think for me and Laz, it might be a bit different because of kids, but our perspective might be a little bit different. There's certain jokes like that you think, I don't find that funny. Such as one that got told me earlier, which I kind of was borderline for me, was how many babies does it take to paint a fence?
Oh, I think I've heard this one in the past.
Lauren?
No.
How many babies does it take to paint a fence?
Is this, do I need to stop recording at this point?
Possibly.
It's one of those jokes that,
I'm worried. I'm going to Google it so that...
Google it on incognito so you don't get the suggestions.
I can say it in code if you want.
No.
Depends on how...
Oh, I've seen it, yeah.
The velocity of the object.
No, yeah. I've just seen it in the chat.
The point.
I've seen it in the
locked.
chat. Stop. I've seen it in the chat.
Right, to me, though, that's not a joke.
So the thing is, it depends on